Welcome to the Voice of College Football 365 Live. I am joined alongside Brandon Ross, former NFL defensive back and scout for the Green Bay Packers. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Brandon.
What's up, everybody? I'm Brandon Ross, also known as B Ross, if that's easier for you. I played 6 years in the NFL for Packers, Raiders, Dolphins, Chargers, Broncos. 3 teams in one division, yes. And I scouted for 8 years with the Green Bay Packers. Now I am hosting the Voice of College Football 365 Live, also with the Voice of College Football Texas channel. Double duty, baby. Horns up.
Yeah, and you can catch Brandon actually right before this show on Tuesdays, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock Central. He's there with Josh every Tuesday night. So let's just jump right in, and we've got top 25. I mean, college football, it's here. Like a week from Saturday, we've got football games. And so yeah, we got top 25s. It's getting close. So yeah, here we go.
So my first question is: do you agree with the top 10? Is there anybody out that should be in? Anybody in that should be out?
Just being in the top 10, so it doesn't matter about the position. I'm gonna
Not by
say,
position, just
I mean, honestly, I look at a team like Miami, and I don't see them being a top 10 team, but I don't know that there's a team behind them that
that's better.
who would you move up?
South
Who
Carolina.
do you think maybe should be in there?
I will put in South Carolina over Miami.
Yeah, so I'm not
Just
on South Carolina.
I like them at 13 is after Illinois, after Arizona State to me is like egregious. That's no. Like
I would even
they play in the hardest conference. No.
well, yeah, speaking of SEC, I would maybe even put Florida up there because I think Florida's
Mm,
going to beat Miami. So yeah, it would only make sense for them to be ranked higher.
just saying. Like it's a when you talk about rankings and preseason rankings, especially, it goes off of what everyone did last year. Carson Beck wasn't good. And now he's on a new team, a new system. And you're telling me with him, he's a top 10 team. No, I don't. Even in the ACC, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
I'm not buying that. I am selling that all day, every day, just because I don't believe in the quarterback. But then when I look at DJ Lagway, when I look at Lenore Sellers, like them dudes, like they can go win games by themselves, almost kind of. You know what I mean? Like they have
yeah, very true.
takeover ability. So I would have gave them the preseason nod just off that alone.
Yeah, I mean, I would take. You don't want to hear this, but I'd take Oklahoma and Texas A&M over Miami. And it sounds like I'm being okay.
Mm,
I'll give you a non-SEC team, and you may not agree here. I'd take Indiana over Miami.
I would too. I would
So I
too.
mean, it sounds like we're just
I
trashing
think
Miami here.
I think they're a really good football team. I am. I'm not sold. Like no, I'm just not sold. Like they haven't done anything in terms of wins where it's like they won a game they weren't supposed to win, or you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
they beat up on the they beat up on the ACC, and then they didn't do that with the best quarterback in the country last year. Just in terms of like purely dominating, they didn't do that. Like they scored a lot of points, but they gave up a lot of points.
yeah,
So
for sure.
but yeah,
So what do you think
I
about the
like
top? That Texas at number one?
all day the most talented team in the country, and the only other team who has any say so at number one is Penn State to me. And the only
Yeah, I
difference
agree.
between the two is Texas to me has more quality players deeper in their roster, whereas Penn State I think is top heavy. Whereas if those guys go down, I think their too deep isn't as good as Texas is too deep overall, and more they have more game experience because they have some older guys. But I think Texas at one is fair. I think Ohio State at three is too high.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
I think that's way too high to not have a quarterback returning.
yeah. I'd have Clemson ahead of them. I'd have Georgia ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would have Alabama ahead of them. As
Ooh,
much as
really?
that pains me, but yeah, I'm pretty high on them. Which they don't have a proven quarterback either. So yeah, I get that. But yeah, I agree that Texas is the most talented roster, but I think it's kind of
Yeah.
experience versus talent with Penn State and Texas. But I agree those have to be 1 and 2.
Yep. I wouldn't even care which order, but to me, like those are like locks to me.
Yeah,
I would put LSU higher too, though.
yeah, I'm okay with where LSU is.
Listen, I'm a big fan of that quarterback. I think he can ball.
Yeah,
I think he's going to shock some people this year. I do. I think that team's going to shock people. The only thing that scares me about that team, and it has since I've been going through this, that defense is terrible.
yeah, that's going to be the question. How much do they
Oh my
improve?
God. Like they have to prove drastically to have a chance to be in the playoffs, like to have a fighting chance. That defense can't be as bad as they were the last 2 years. It's been god awful.
What about on the back end? Who do you think maybe should have been in the top 25 that was not? Or maybe who was in that shouldn't be in?
Who's in? Who shouldn't be in? Oh, I'm gonna go with Ole Miss. I would put Louisville or Utah in over Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss lost way too much talent. Like they lost way. Ole Miss lost way too much talent to be talk about in the top 25. Whereas Louisville is returning a lot of talent, and like they're just the ACC doesn't get the same respect as the SEC. Like I get it, but like Louisville to me right now is a better football team than Ole Miss. Ole Miss is all
Yeah,
about potential. Like it's all about what
right.
if potentials of Louisville has been proven. Like the team is older. Yeah, I would definitely have Louisville. If Georgia Tech had won a couple more games last year, I would have them in over Boise. Yeah, Boise. I I don't. I mean, I kind of get it, but not really.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
what are we
they
doing?
got to have one group of 5 team in there.
That that's what it looks like, and they just
Yeah.
popped them in at the end. Where I'm like,
Right.
just what are we doing? Because Missouri's a better football team. Utah, probably BYU off the top of my head. Yeah, like better football team. So put them
Yeah.
in. But to your point, they have to have one.
Yeah. G Madness agrees with you. Said Louisville should be in. And we must have some Louisville fans. Here's another one. Put them in the top 15, or I'm gonna put some hands up. So yeah, we got some Louisville fans tonight.
I'm not
Yeah,
mad
I
at
mean,
that.
I would.
Like I'll put them in the top 20. I don't know about top 15.
Yeah, yeah, it's
I
hard
can
for me to
fit them
put them that high.
somewhere. Yeah, I can put them somewhere 16 through 25. Somewhere in there. I have no problem with that. But top 15, nah, no.
What do you think about Florida State with votes to get in after their season last year?
How do you justify that? Like, how do you wake up and vote yes on them being a top 25 team? Like nothing they put on film last year said they were even a top 50 team. Just put that out there.
Yeah,
Because
I
you
agree.
know what I mean? Like that's how these ranks are determined. That it's based off the previous season. Like Florida State, and I love Mike Norvell, but that team was terrible. They were so bad. So whoever voted for them got paid. I'm calling it.
Yeah,
They got paid.
that one's a head scratcher for sure. I mean, I guess you're just looking at the name and you're looking at Gus Malzahn coming in, and I mean, I don't know.
No, I'm not buying it. Is there any team in the from 15 to 25 that you think could be in the playoffs at the end of the season?
Uh, well, do you want to
Outside
wait
of Florida.
and do you want to wait when we get to our sleepers, or
Okay, yeah. Yeah, let's do
yeah,
that.
let's don't give
Yeah,
that away. Yeah, later
you're
we'll
right.
give our
You're right.
sleepers for the playoff or whatever. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't really have any major complaints here with this top 25. I mean, I would have some teams moved around a little bit, but there's nothing here that just looks crazy to me.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not egregious, but I'm not with the Illinois being in front of South Carolina or Florida, um, or Miami for that matter. Yeah, those were really it, and I think Indiana should be higher. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think people are not giving Indiana the credit they deserve. I
no,
mean, they
not at
reloaded.
all.
They added players in the portal, and I'm telling you, don't be surprised if they're right back in that 10-2, that playoff conversation.
Not at all. I mean, they are a well coached football team, and to your point, they reloaded. They didn't get worse. Like they might have gotten better.
Yeah, and they got a couple guys on defense that are, potentially like first team All Big Ten. Like they've got players. It's not like they're just rolling out a bunch of scrubs. I mean, this is a good football team.
Absolutely, and they have. I mean, th- they have a favorable schedule. They go to Oregon. They go to Penn State. Outside of that, I don't see anybody else beating them on their schedule. So to
Yeah,
your
what's
point,
their next
10 and
toughest game?
2.
Don't they play like Iowa?
They play Iowa on the 27th in Iowa, and that's always a tough place to play.
Yeah, that's like the only game. I think when I did my predictions, I talked about like that. If they're not going to go 10-2, that's like the only game I could see them losing. Really.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your predictions
Yeah,
because
let's jump in here.
I'm ready to see those bad boys. What conference you
Yeah,
starting with?
so we're gonna go ACC, Big 12, Big 10, SEC, and there are videos here on the channel for each conference. If you guys want to go check them out, I'm gonna let Brandon do most of the talking. Tell me what he disagrees with, or maybe what he agrees with. Maybe there's a team or two that he agrees with. But yeah, let's jump right in. We'll go to the ACC. So this is, I know obviously Notre Dame's not in the ACC, but just so we could talk about them, I threw them in there at
Just
11-1.
about.
Clemson 10-2, Pitt at 9-3, Miami and SMU 8-4, and then Louisville at 9-3.
Oh, yeah, I don't disagree with this. I actually think Miami might end up 8-4, 7-5. I'm not a
Wow.
fan of Carson Banks. Like, I think he turns the ball over too much in college. To me, if you throw over 10 interceptions in college, that's a red flag considering how easy the offenses are created for guys to be successful in terms of completion percentage and not putting the ball in harm's way. He turned the ball over at a high clip. So but yeah, I'm not Pittsburgh at 9-3. What is what 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 got you to that point?
Defense. They're bringing back a ton of guys on defense. They're loaded there. You go back to last
True.
year, and Eli Holstein, starting quarterback. They started off
Yep.
7-0. Then he got hurt, and they
Then he
kind
got
of
hurt. Yeah.
went downhill
True.
from there. So, I'm looking at them maybe getting back to being that team, and they got a pretty favorable schedule. So, yeah, I actually wound up. That's
They
going to be
do.
one of my sleeper teams. I guess I'll just kind of give mine away as we go through here, but yeah, I think they could be a dangerous team. And again, the schedule it sets up pretty well for them.
It is favorable. They start with Duquesne. They got Central Michigan, the Backyard Brawl, and West Virginia. Then a toughest matchup at that point will be Louisville goes there on the 27th. Boston College, they go to Florida State. I think to Syracuse is going to be an interesting matchup for them because Syracuse, they're just weirdly like they're oddly good at times, and you just don't know why. Um, but then NC State, Stanford, Notre Dame, all of the toughest games they get at home.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's favorable. And then they go to Georgia Tech. I can see them losing that game.
Yeah, I
I
think they're
can.
an 8-4, 9-3 type team.
Yep. Absolutely. But yeah, they'll be sitting right there in the ACC picture for sure.
Yeah, so if you want to know, I had to go through and do the tiebreakers and the ACC
For
championship
each
game. Yeah, because we got 4, 6, and 2 teams here.
right.
Guess who do you think made it out of these 4? I mean, obviously it's just a guess.
I'm gonna say Clemson SMU.
So the opposite. We actually wound up with Pitt and Miami in the ACC
Wow.
championship, which, that's not – I wouldn't say those are two best teams, but we could get something crazy like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. With the way, like, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about college football right now, though. To me, it's so balanced. Teams are good and better than others, but there's no like pure dominance. Like that is not, it's not the Saban run of the mid 2000s. It's like we're not going to see that again. I don't think, just because of the portal. Like it makes it hard for a team to stack talent and just have guys in the wings waiting. So this is exciting for sure. But Pittsburgh and Miami in the ACC championship, I will lose money on that one.
That's not – if you ask me to just predict the ACC championship, that's not who I pick. But I mean,
Who
I
would
just
you
did my
pick?
predictions, and I would definitely put Clemson in there. I think they're the best team. I would probably put Clemson. Who you said, Clemson, SMU. That's probably who I would wind up with.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at SMU, they have quarterback returning. Them guys play fast. They run the ball. And the thing that shocked me about them last year is they did a good job of getting the ball back for that offense. So, and they adjusted well to being in the Power Four conference. That was their first year in. So I'm excited to see them. But yeah, I would go with Clemson, SMU, with Pittsburgh running the outside looking in. And it would depend on who they lose to.
Right. Yeah, here's the middle of the pack here. We got Duke at 9-3. They've got a really easy schedule. NC State 8-4, Georgia Tech 7-5, Virginia, a little bit of a surprise team there. They've got a really favorable schedule, 8-4. North Carolina 7-5, Florida State. I think they improve some. They get to a bowl game this year.
I don't know how they went from sugar to poop just so fast. Like it was fast. I mean, just so fast. Duke at 9-3. I never thought in my lifetime I would see like Duke be good at football how I am now. I just always knew Duke would be a basketball school through and through. And the fact that these guys, to your point, have a favorable schedule, they have a really good roster for Duke football to me. Like to your point, it wouldn't surprise me to see Duke on that first page.
Yeah.
Due to their schedule and their roster. So yeah. And then
they got a solid defense.
Yes.
And then they got the transfer quarterback from Tulane.
Tulane, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, with that being said, like I think I can see a world where Duke and SMU or Duke and Miami switch spots and they're in the 6-2 tiebreaker. Who did you have Duke losing to? You remember?
Yeah, so I got them on the road at Syracuse, on the road at Clemson, and then on the road at North Carolina. So, I mean, with going 9-3, the only quality teams they would have to beat would be NC State and Georgia Tech, and they get both those at home.
At home, yeah. And if they can steal one of those games, they're sitting at 10-2 comfortably.
Yeah, and they were. I'm not mistaken. Duke was 9-3 last year too. They were like a sneaky 9-3. Like,
yep.
Nobody ever talks about Duke last year, but somehow they got there.
Sitting at 9-3 with Malik Murphy at quarterback. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about college football. I love it.
Let's go to the bottom here. I mean, don't probably need to spend much time here. These teams are pretty rough, especially those last four: Wake Forest, BC, Cal, Stanford.
Yeah. Stanford lost a lot of talent to the portal. Cal lost some talent to the portal. BC, I don't know. I mean, they're just struggling right now to get players there, honestly, to like get quality players from transfers to recruits. Wake Forest, I think teams have started to figure out that offense in terms of the walk mesh and all that. So
which they got a new coach this year too. So
they do. So that'd be a learning curve in itself. And then Virginia Tech, it's a sad day when Virginia Tech doesn't make a bowl game. They had the longest streak at one point, like the longest streak of making a bowl game. Yeah, it was like 20-some years. I want to say
Didn't Florida
20.
State have a really long streak before last year?
Yeah, yeah,
I was thinking
both
they had one too.
both of them. It was like, yeah, I know it was well over 20 years where they always made a bowl game. Like they didn't do anything else, they would make a bowl game. So to like
Yeah.
see them on the opposite end and see Duke, that just blows my mind a little bit because it wasn't like that for the better part of my life.
Yeah, but it's a new era. We'll go to the Big 12 now. Here's what we got at the top: Texas Tech and Arizona State at 10-2, Iowa State 9-3, Colorado 9-3, Baylor and Kansas 8-4.
That's my sleeper team right there.
Which one?
Texas Tech. Texas Tech. I have a strange feeling they get in that playoff and they make some noise. Like
So you
they
think they can win a
reloaded.
playoff game?
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
I mean, and ultimately, what it'll come down to is how quick that defense gels because they went and got a handful of guys up front, and then they went and got some guys from North Dakota State, a couple other FCS schools who were like really good players, and like these guys are going to play and going to play a lot of ball, but they return a lot on offense, um, which is good for them. But I really like this football team. Like I love Coach McGuire. He knows how to coach guys up. He knows he does a good job of getting guys to buy in. So guys aren't there long, but when you get so many transfers and things like that, but he does a good job of creating culture where guys want to buy in and want to play for him. So I think he's going to be that team's going to be really good. Like 10-2 that's exactly where I had them. I just think they sneak in and they steal a game from somebody, and it's going to piss people off because it won't be pretty, but it'll get done. Oh,
what do you think
Arizona
about
State.
Colorado? Because I don't think many people are as high on them as me. Well, because of course you lose Travis Hunter, Shooter Sanders, but I think
Right.
when you really dissect this roster and look at
Roster,
line of
yeah.
scrimmage, they've gotten better. Like I think they're going to
And
surprise people.
that's that was my thought, just in terms of how they built the roster over the last 2 years when they did have Shador and Travis. They built it up front. He's done a great job of getting really good players on both sides of the line of scrimmage, where now his skill players, they can come along relatively slowly because you have really good players up front. So, and I think they got a stud in Caden Salter. Like,
Yeah.
like he's no slouch of a quarterback. You know what I mean? So I think that, helps. Um, yeah, I don't disagree with 9-3. Depending on let's see their schedule. I have to see who they play and where. We got
They've got
yeah,
an interesting non-conference game to start the year off
Georgia
with
Tech.
Georgia Tech. That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, that is gonna be a good game. The game I'm waiting to see is BYU because they pissed down their leg last year playing those guys. Like BYU manhandled them up front. Like they could not piss a drop. So that'd be one to watch for sure. And then depending on where they sit late in the year, that game versus Arizona State,
Oh yeah.
because you have them second and they're like they're reloading again to be really good as well. So yeah, Colorado has a like this isn't a cupcakes schedule, but they do get BYU at home, they get Iowa State at home, and they get Arizona State at home.
Yeah.
So that helps. But then they end the season going to Kansas State, and that's a tough place to play. Manhattan, Kansas, at the end of November. Yeah, nobody wants to
Yeah.
be there.
You got that right.
You got barely going 8-4. Tell me about that pick. What what
You think
what is it
that's
about the
high or
Bears that
low?
got you? I do. I think it's high.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be a quality team, especially on offense. I mean, they got a lot of playmakers. Return their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit concerned about the defense. That's where if they have a problem, I think that's where it's going to be. But I mean, I think that offense is going to be able to score some points, and I was really back and forth on that non-conference game against Auburn, and wound up going with Auburn there, but just only 3 losses in the Big 12 for them. Yeah, I think they're going to be pretty good. So you disagree there a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, and it's really because I think they start 0-2. I do. So, and I just think it's hard to get back going. Like to your point,
Oh,
they can
SMU,
score points.
yeah.
They can score points, but you can't stop anybody. It's like that's demoralizing because you can score 45 points a game, but if you give up 49, is like, why are we even doing this? Because you know what I mean. So, but yeah, I have them
Then
losing versus Auburn.
They got Arizona
versus
State
SMU.
week 4 too.
Exactly. So you're talking about being 1-2 going into that Arizona State game. And then I don't think they beat Arizona State 1-3. So now they will have to, win 7 out of the last 8. Like the odd, like it could happen. Don't get me wrong, but just
it does get easier. It does get easier.
Yeah, because Arizona State, then they get Oklahoma State. They beat them. Kansas State at home. I think that'll be a toss up. TCU.
Yeah, that could be a 4th loss right there.
Yeah. Because TCU definitely got better. They definitely got better. And then Utah, they get Arizona. They go to Arizona. They get UCF, Cincy. Yeah. I don't know. 8-4. I guess that now that I see it laid out where they play, that's not out of the realm of possibilities. Just because, to your point, the schedule does get easier.
Yeah, and maybe they beat SMU or Arizona State. Maybe they get one of those.
If they win one of those games, then they get the bump into the top 3 of they'll be in the mix.
Yeah,
for a Big 12 championship game, for sure. They'll be in the mix. They would have to be, because I think Arizona State's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah,
Kansas State.
Yeah, Cincinnati's another sleeper team for me.
Yeah, Kansas State for me. I like that quarterback. I love Coach Kleiman. But teams who can run the football are always sleepers to me, just because they have so many different ways to run the football. They can do it with the quarterback. They can do it with the running back. They can do it with the receivers. Like, they can just run the football. So I like Kansas State as another sleeper.
I think they'll be solid. Them and TCU. Houston, I think they make a little move up. Connor Wegman, they added him at quarterback.
Yep.
People are not happy with my Utah pick at 6-6. I just they haven't done enough for me, like in the portal. Like some of these coaches, like Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State, and like they're not adding. They're adding players, but they're not adding game changers. Like they're just adding depth.
They're not adding quality. Yeah.
Yeah. And you got other teams that are, they're reloading and they're adding starters. And I feel like some of these kind of old school coaches are going to get left behind a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at their rosters, to your point, they have players who leave their state, go elsewhere, and they don't even try and recruit them. So, to your point, they have to add quality, not just quantity, and they're just adding, numbers to add depth. But yeah, I'm not sold on Utah. Definitely not sold on Oklahoma State. But Utah, to your point, like on paper, they look good every year. It's Utah, and they never perform up to standards. One, because they tend to have injuries, and then they don't have depth. They don't have quality depth after those injuries. So I can't see them. I can see them making a bowl game because they do play hard. They tend to play good defense, and they'll steal some games here and there. But yeah, I can't see them winning more than 8 games, more than 7 games. Excuse me. Yeah, not happening. Not in this conference. This conference is really good. It's really good, really balanced. So yeah, not a big fan of Utah.
You from what you said earlier, I think you probably a little bit higher on BYU.
Yeah, I would have them. I would put them above Utah and under Houston. Yeah, I would just flip those two.
Yeah, I'm just worried about without Jake Retzlaff, at quarterback. That's just
True.
maybe,
Very
but we
true.
didn't know about him last year. We didn't know he coming into the season. Nobody knew he was. So they may have another guy, and if they do, they're probably going to surprise. But
Yeah,
if they don't, it could, I think, be a struggle for them.
they could be 6-6 or worse for sure if they don't have another guy. That's when you could bounce back in the playoffs. Yeah, for sure.
And then at the
Who's at
bottom,
the
we
bottom?
got. I mean,
Scott Frost Knights.
Yeah, that roster is just not. It's going to take him a little time, in my opinion.
It is.
And Rich
Oklahoma
Rod at
State
West
as well.
Virginia, I'm curious to see. Maybe he makes a bigger impact right away. I don't know. That's one I'm having a hard time with.
Absolutely, but I'm more intrigued to see how he builds that team now, because in the past, it was speed. It was like, to me, they were the Florida Gators before the Florida Gators. Like, they were like, with spread option, speed, tempo, all that stuff. They just didn't have the guys up front. If he can get the same speed and the guys up front and the guys on the other side of the ball, like, get some studs on defense, and I think he can, because he's a pretty good recruiter. I think in like 2 years we're having a totally different conversation. But right now,
I
to
can
your
see that.
point, yeah, if they get into a bowl game, that's a win for them to me.
I agree.
They go 6-6, that is a win, and you take it and you build from there.
Well, let's go to the two big
Who
conferences.
you got next?
We'll go to the Big Ten.
Big Ten.
I got Penn State at the top, 11-1, then Ohio State and Oregon, and Indiana 10-2, Michigan 9-3, Washington, one of my sleeper teams, at 9-3.
Ooh. Okay, now let's dissect this. Okay, who does Penn State lose to?
Ohio State. Who
Ohio
else?
State.
I mean,
I know that's one of the most disappointing things ever. Like, they're so good every year, and they cannot beat their little big brother or their big brother. Like, they struggle every year to beat Ohio State. When on paper, Penn State should like be able to handle their own, build the lead, control the game. Like, this is the year to beat Ohio State, because if they don't beat them this year, guess what? I don't think it's happening for another 20 years. Let's put that out
20
there.
years.
Yeah, I think it's one of those droughts. I think it's one of those droughts where it's like, yeah, the last time Penn State beat Ohio State was 2016, and we'll be sitting in the year 2030. Like, it'd be so far gone. But who do you have?
I do have Penn State. I think they finally do beat them, though, in the Big Ten championship. So I think they lose in Columbus, but then they finally beat them in the Big Ten championship. That's my prediction.
Beat them in Indy.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, they just have to beat them. Like, it to me, like, it's Georgia, Bama all over again. It's becoming what Texas and Georgia are becoming in terms of very lopsided. I mean, that's a rivalry, but it's really not if you can't beat them. If you can't go back and forth, that's not. No, you're just taking an ass whooping. That's more like assault more than anything. And Ohio State is doing the assaulting. Who do you have Ohio State losing to? You got Texas, okay,
and Michigan. Who else?
Oh, I like that. I do, because I think Michigan is going to be in that 10-2 mix. I do.
A lot of people do. Yeah. I mean, it's just it's Bryce Underwood. How good is he going to be? That's the question.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about that program and just how they've been recently, well, kind of always, they're going to run the football. So that's always going to give him a chance to settle into games, to not have to, he's not going to have to be a stud 5-star every time he touches the ball now. Now he can hand it off 20 to 30 times. And people say, we wasted money. Like, no, let him grow kind of naturally within the game, and I think you'll get a better player. But if they come out and they're trying to push the ball downfield and do not do Michigan things and run the football, then I can see them going 7-5, 8-4 too. Because they're putting too much on a young guy. Like, stick to what you do well. They won 7 games and didn't have a quarterback last year.
Yeah.
Like, quarterback play was awful. 7 wins. So you talk about you have a guy, you had 7. Yeah. To me, this is a +3 team. They can get 3 more wins.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah.
Tell me about this Washington team. I'm curious because you said this is one of your sleepers, and I see 9-3 after last season. So I'm just curious. What got you to that point?
So a lot of it is just Jed Fish. I just really believe in him.
Fair.
And if you look at the young quarterback, Damon Williams, all right, think about Noah Fafita at Arizona. When Jed Fish was there 2 years ago, he was
lights out. Oh my God.
And he fell off last year. Last year he was terrible. And I'm just looking at Jed Fish and his impact and what he did at Arizona quickly. They had that his last year there, they were really good.
Yeah.
And I just look at this roster coming back. I mean, Washington, they got a lot of pieces coming back. Running back room is good, defense is solid. It's going to come down to probably the passing game with Damon Williams. And if they can get kind of almost like Michigan, if they can get enough there, then I think they become a contender. But if they don't, then teams can, load the box on them and all that. So, we'll see. But I think it's more about Jed Fish than anything else.
I mean, I totally understand that because that type of leadership is very contagious to football teams. So when guys want to play for a guy, when they believe in their head coach, like they tend to eke out and squeeze out way much more than maybe what they really are. So I definitely can see that. Who do you have them losing to?
I know I have them beating Oregon. That's one of the 2 losses to Oregon.
Really?
Yeah, they get them at home last game.
They get them at home. Yeah.
I've got them losing. I got them losing to Ohio State and Michigan, and then an upset loss to Wisconsin. But you could easily say they beat Wisconsin and lose to Oregon and still get to 9-3.
3, yeah.
So you got a couple different ways you could get there.
Oh yeah, because they have to go to Wisconsin. Yeah, that's gonna be tough. And it would all depend on how that quarterback's playing at that time of the year. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
watch the play.
You could almost get to 10-2 there, though.
Yeah. If they, you're talking about beating Wisconsin in Wisconsin and then beating Oregon at home, and the only 2 losses at Michigan, and then your only losses at Ohio State, or no, home to Ohio State, and then at Michigan, like those are quality losses.
Yeah.
Can they make the playoff like that?
Yeah. Talk about sleeper teams. That's one of them.
Oh, that's interesting. Because now, are you saying that the Big Ten gets? So that means Indiana. Somebody else will have to falter.
Yeah, but also
in that pecking order.
Also, I think if you compare 10-2 like an Indiana or even maybe even Washington to a 9-3 Florida or a 9-3 Oklahoma with their schedules, I think there's going to be a conversation there.
Yeah,
I don't think you're automatically in, especially if you're like Indiana. If you look at their schedule,
right?
I mean, their best win's going to be Iowa, so that's going to be interesting. I could see that happening this year, where a 10-2 Big Ten team, depending on who it is, like it's going to have to be like Indiana or Washington. Like if it's Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon, Michigan, they're going to be in. But if it's one of those other teams, I mean, you never know.
I'm getting excited just thinking about the chaos. I love the commotion. I love when everyone loses. Oh, I do. It makes for the best conversations, and in college football and football in general, because now you got to go to tiebreakers and and quality and oh yeah, this is beautiful.
Yeah, I
This
was.
would be an interesting conference to watch because from I think Penn State and Ohio State cream of the crop, right? Like I think those two will separate themselves early. But when you look at the next four teams, that can go anyway. Just it's so many variables to that. Just because one, Indiana isn't as talented as some of those other teams, but they have more experience and they have consistent quarterback play. Like they have like they know what they're getting out of their guy. Whereas the other three schools, everyone's new. So yeah, that'd be that'd be interesting. Very,
So
very, very interesting to see.
let's see if maybe you've got a team on this next page that you could see up there. So I got Nebraska at 9-3. They got
Nope.
an easy schedule. USC Northwestern, another one of my sleeper teams. Nobody's picking that.
I'll see.
Minnesota 7-5. Illinois and Wisconsin 6-6.
The team I want to like Nebraska. I do. I really do. But they play up to the quality of their whoever they're playing that week to me.
Yeah,
They'll come out versus a good team and just, play really hard and and then just come to find out they're not good enough. So if this roster is good, just good and stable and solid, my worry is they're going to play someone below this 6-6 Wisconsin team and piss down their leg. So that 9-3 can be 8-4, it can be 7-5. To me, they're the most radical in terms of where they can end up. If you told me they ended up at 6-6, 5-7, it wouldn't surprise me. If you told me they ended up at 10-2, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me because of their schedule. So to me, they're just like they're the wild card to me, just in terms of where they could ultimately end up in the rankings.
yeah.
But I have to see their schedule again. Who do you have them losing to?
Let's see. I got them losing to Minnesota on the road, Penn State on the road, and then
Michigan.
I
Don't
actually
play
have them
Michigan.
beating Michigan at home.
Wow.
Which that if you flip that around, then I'm at 10-2 for Michigan.
From Michigan.
And they
Got
do
you.
have to go out to UCLA. And there was like this stat last year. I don't have it in front of me, but the teams that had to travel across multiple time zones, like their record was horrible last year. I don't know what I mean. You can speak on that. I'm sure you traveled all over. It's
It
just I guess
sucks.
it has some kind of effect.
Big time effect. That's why I hate it. So playing on the West Coast and then flying to the East Coast or flying to the Central time zone was the worst because you would, gain 2-3 hours, but your body would have to adjust and you're not there long enough for that to happen. Just it's so many and then you got to go all the way back and then lose 3 hours or lose 2 hours and then be back up the next day. And now to your body, it's a short week. Week starts the same time, but your body's tired from the travel. I would like that's why I don't like the construction of the Big Ten. I don't think that shit's fair. I do not think that's fair to have to fly from coast to coast and like they have to go to school, right? Or like in a perfect world, they would stay out there. If you play if USC goes to Nebraska, the next week they just play in Iowa and they stay out there, opposed to having to go back to come back out. Like that's insane to me. Like the
Yeah,
amount of
and
travel, crazy.
a lot of teams do get a bye week before like a big travel, but that a lot of them don't. Like Nebraska, they do not have a bye week before. They actually have USC
At
before,
home.
yeah, at home. And so, yeah, they'd be better off just playing both those games on the road and just staying out there.
Exactly.
But I mean, you got this is their run going into that UCLA game. Michigan State at Maryland, at Minnesota, Northwestern,
Yep.
USC, at UCLA, 6 games in a row, and then travel. So I could see that being a game where they maybe trip
Yeah.
up.
That's a trap game for sure. And uh yeah, and then are they looking ahead to Penn State too early? You know what I mean? Like that's next up. Penn State's going to be a top 3 ranked team. So are they thinking about that game too much because UCLA is going to be, at the bottom half of the conference. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a. And then this Iowa game is intriguing because Iowa is always going to be one of the teams. I'm never going to put them under 6 wins because they play hard, they run the football, they're coached hard, like they do all the little things right to just be good enough. Granted, they're not doing what everyone else is doing when it comes to recruiting and when it comes to NIL. So that Iowa game, I can see them losing as well, even at home.
And we spoke earlier. You kind of agree with me on Illinois being overrated. You see
Highly
them?
like I don't see it. They barely beat bad teams last year. You telling me they're better? I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that shit. Excuse me. Yeah, no, I'm not. I just don't see it. I don't. It's nothing on tape that tells me outside of them being able to run the football. Like they have multiple guys they can put in and run the ball. It's nothing that shows me like, yeah, this team is the top 4 team in the conference because that's what their ranking says. Their ranking says we're
Yeah.
top 4. I don't
Yeah,
see it.
they're ahead of Michigan, right?
Yeah. And like last year, they were better than Michigan. Michigan didn't have a quarterback. Like
Yeah.
they were playing
Yeah,
with
one
dudes
team
who
got a lot better. The other team is similar.
eh, exactly. So yeah, 6-6 is generous.
So you were just talking about Iowa. I actually do have them under
Ooh,
6-6. I've
under.
got them at 5-7. Just run through their schedule, and
Let's see.
like they've never. You talked about how you're never going to put them under 6-6. They've never had a schedule like this because they've always been
No,
in the Big Ten West. And to me, this schedule, I mean, just potential losses at Iowa State, Indiana, at Wisconsin, Penn State, Minnesota, Oregon, at USC, at Nebraska, even at Rutgers up there at the top. Like that's a tough
it's a tough
schedule.
schedule. They got it. They got the short end of the stick in the Big Ten. Granted, they get Penn State at home, they get Oregon at home, but they got to go to USC. You got to go to Nebraska. Granted, I think they win that game, but this is a tough schedule. And to your point, Rutgers isn't a slouch. Like, not like they're not a terrible football team by any stretch of the imagination. And then that rivalry game versus Iowa State is always a tough battle. But
Yeah.
Iowa State on paper, by the looks of things, is significantly better. But yeah, this is I mean, they can end up at 4-8, 3-9. Like it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, we got a super chat here. Appreciate it, Mason Cole. He says
What's up, Mason?
UCLA at 5-7 is generous. 5-7 is generous.
Where do you think they end up, Mason? I'm just curious to know because I think 5-7 is fair.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm curious to see how Nico does out there.
I wasn't a huge fan of Nico.
Yeah, I don't think he's that much of a difference maker, but it's an
Me
upgrade.
either.
It's at least an
Yeah,
upgrade. So
yeah, it's
I
true.
don't know.
I'm just he hasn't like that team last year was built to win, but he couldn't throw the ball when it count 3-9. I think Foster is in over his head.
Yeah, I'll never
I don't,
forget when he came out for that. I don't know if you remember that for the media day last year, and he came out and just had like no statement prepared. Do you remember seeing that?
yep.
So I think because of that,
He
everybody
was
thinks that he's not going to be a coach. I think the jury's still out. I mean, he's only had 1 year, so we'll see. But
yeah. Think you need 3 to 5 years as a sample size to say if a guy's good or not. Because you need one full recruiting class. To be fair, like you need one.
yeah, and in today's era, most coaches they don't give them that long.
They don't get that, no. Because everyone thinks that you can just pay for guys and but you have to build a culture. That's why I said like in a perfect world, guys get 3 to 5 years to build their culture while also bringing in new talent. That's all Sark did. Sark came in, guys he was given, kicked off guys who were not doing what they're supposed to do, got it, got the talent, built a culture. Now,
Yep.
because people forget how bad Texas was. Like they were not good. Like not even a little bit. Not in recruiting, not on the field, just not good. So take some time, but yeah, they're just one. They're in the Big Ten. Big Ten is really good. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I see
Loxley
it. Though.
4-8 at Maryland. I can see that. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
they got
they
a tough
just.
schedule too. I mean, and they're not good.
Yeah,
That
I really thought maybe he had them head in the right direction, but now it's just like I don't know. I don't not a lot of reason to be optimistic in my opinion.
well, so it's a two-sided sword when it comes to NIL, right? Is one, do you want to play the players, and two, paying the right players. I don't think he's paying the right guys because they're going to get guys. Like they go and get plenty of players. I don't think they get the right ones. Hence why they're struggling year after year. And he's fighting for his life.
Is there any team here that you think, other than Iowa, could possibly make a little bit of noise?
I won't say make noise, but between Iowa and Rutgers, I think they can ruin some seasons.
Oh yeah,
I think those are two programs that like late in the year you don't want to see, because if they're not playing for anything, or they're planning to get to a bowl game, you do not want to see tough physical football teams in cold weather in the Big Ten with nothing to lose.
yeah, you're right.
That's when good teams get booted year after year because they fall asleep. They get lulled to sleep by the team's record or who they think they have on paper. And it's like, yeah, we will end your shit. And Iowa and Rutgers, those are my two candidates for just blowing up the whole college football playoff. Like just blowing it up. Just
Yeah,
saying,
I
you
can
know
see
what?
that.
Watch this. And then that's when all of the confusion happens and the chaos happens. So that's what I think those two teams could possibly do.
Real quick before we go to the SEC,
What's up?
chances of Michigan State beating Michigan. What do you think?
The same chances of me shaving my hair. 0%.
0%. I
I
give them
like
5%. I give them
I don't
5%.
think I just think Michigan State's roster in terms of how they built it, and they've been transitioning from different coaches, different like he needs time. He needs time to build that thing the right way. And like uh every team in the conference, every coach is saying, I want to build my team this way. Ultimately, they have to build their teams to beat Penn State and Ohio State
Yeah,
at their core. And Michigan State, they're not built to beat Michigan. So I don't think the chances are
yeah,
high at all.
I agree.
I give them 2%. I won't say 0. It's always a chance.
Yeah,
2%.
always a chance.
It's
Always a
always
chance.
a chance.
So let's go to the SEC now, and I got a 4-way tie, actually 5-way in the conference. We
This
got
is
Georgia,
ridiculous.
Alabama, Texas, Texas A&M all 10-2, LSU and Oklahoma at 9-3.
Wow. I don't know what to say about this. Well, Oklahoma, you got to put an asterisk beside. you
Yeah,
gotta,
we'll have
you
to
gotta, you
wait and
gotta,
see there
you gotta
with the
hold off on
quarterback.
that one. But yeah, I
And
think.
that would change things
Oh,
for Texas too, because I've got Texas losing to Oklahoma. I know you don't want to hear that, but
what? No way.
I think the roster for Oklahoma is catching up this year. It's closer this year. Still think Texas is a better team, but I also look at just obviously they're not going to overlook Oklahoma of the rivalry and all that.
Right.
But I do look at it's coming off of a road game at Florida, and
Mm.
Oklahoma is playing Kent State the week before. So
So I can see that two ways. I can see as Texas being prepared, and and the intensity just picks up from
yeah,
Florida to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma is kind of lollygagging and saying we're going to pick it up for Texas. So it's a.
yeah,
I would never. Out first of all, I'd never say Oklahoma would beat Texas. So that's
I
just not
understand. I
happening.
understand that.
That is. Is it biased? Yes, 100%, 100,000%. Now, the team who I think can be who I think will be better than what you think is LSU. I do. I think LSU is going to be really good, especially on offense. Now, again, the only thing that concerns me is that defense. But I'm I like the quarterback. I think he can play. I think he's a winner. I think he's efficient. Um, he has some different traits to him that gives me a very good feeling towards them being able to win big games, opposed to years past. I think he will be able to win games in spite of that defense.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see them getting to 10-2. I do. I mean, we know Brian Kelly's track record in these first games, and they got to go to Clemson. So that's just. I mean, I
Yeah,
almost that's almost like an automatic L for me. I mean, maybe they find a
just
way to win.
just because of Brian
That's
Kelly's
tough.
track record.
Yeah, well, and I just think Clemson's really good, and that's a very tough
Fair,
place to play.
it
But
is.
then I just look late in the year. You've got Alabama and Oklahoma on the road. Those are two tough games.
Yep.
Now, if Oklahoma's quarterback, if something happens there, yeah, that's going to probably change my pick, and that's going to put Oklahoma or put LSU in the playoff for me.
See, my thing with Bama is their quarterback's unproven. We don't know. It's so much gray area. Now, with that being said, that defense is really good. That
Yeah,
defense is this is a this is a really good defense. So with that being said, he will have time to come along, but you know, it's I just
I know
really
that.
like the LSU team. I
Obviously,
mean,
I don't want to take up for Alabama fans, but the thought, the kind of what I'm hearing from the Alabama side is that you know he can just make the simple plays that maybe Milrow couldn't. He can throw a screen pass better than Milrow, or he can just make those easy plays, and that's all he's got to do. Like he doesn't have to do too much. That's kind of the argument from Alabama side, and maybe that gives him time to grow up or get some experience. And they play they got Florida State in the first game. They do have Georgia early, and I do have them losing
yep.
that game. But then, I mean, like they don't play LSU, Oklahoma, Auburn. Those are three of their last four games. South Carolina's kind of later in the year.
Trap game,
So
Missouri.
actually,
Trap game.
that's the second loss actually for me. I have them losing to
That
Georgia and Missouri.
that Missouri squad that's another sleeper. That's my sleeper out of the SEC. Like that team is something brewing over there in what is it, Columbia, Missouri. That is my sleeper SEC team. Bama, yeah, they got to go to South Carolina. They do get LSU at home. They get Tennessee at home, and then they end in the Iron Bowl. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like he can make the simple plays, but at some point, because what Bama fans um fail to forget is all the games Bama should have lost that Milrow won. He don't have that. Like,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
that's what separates. When you look at Georgia, um, again, another unknown commodity at the quarterback position. Defense really good. They'll be able to run the ball. All that stuff is cool. At some point, like when you look at their championship runs with Stetson Bennett, he got hot. He got in a
Yeah,
rhythm of, he's completing 75% of his passes, making great throws. Like at some point, your quarterback has to be a dude, unless you just surround him with just like so much talent, it's hard to mess up. And I don't think no team is like that anymore, just because of the portal and free agency and all that stuff. But yeah, Bama is um it'll be interesting to see them verse again, like because the trap game to me it's two of them and they're back to back. It's Vanderbilt and it's Missouri. Back to
yeah.
back
I
weeks.
don't. Yeah, Vandy after last year though, I just feel like. I mean, what? Imagine a world where Vanderbilt beats Alabama 2 years in a row
Hey,
like that.
crazier
That
things
would
have
be.
happened.
They have, but that's I don't know. I don't see that one happening. But yeah, Missouri, I agree. I get that's who I had them losing to actually. And then that
So,
South Carolina game, a lot of people have them losing that game.
ooh, I can see that one for sure, just because of how South Carolina lost last year. I don't care what their record is going into that game. I think they want to get back because South Carolina shouldn't have won that game, and Milroe and company did the comeback thing. But yeah,
Yeah, they
I can
had
see
the
that.
ball.
I can see them winning that.
They were, I think, up. I forget about how many points, maybe one
Yeah.
score, and they were
Yep.
driving in Alabama territory when Sellers fumbled,
He
and
fumbled, and
they gave that game away, and they
you
still
gave
almost
him
won. They got the onside kick, and
kick. Yep.
that was kind of a sneaky game. Like people don't really talk about that game being one of the best games last year. That game was really good. But,
For sure. To me, that was one of the best games that like that wasn't a playoff game or anything like last year, or you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that was a good game start to finish.
yeah,
So
we'll
you
go.
got Bama beating
Oh, you
LSU.
wanna go? Yeah, so I got Bama beating LSU at home.
No,
You
not
think
buying
you
it.
think LSU goes? I mean, last
Into
year's game
Bama.
wasn't even close.
LSU sucked last year to me, but more so on defense.
Yeah.
I'm sneaky good feeling about that quarterback.
I mean, I think the offense will be just fine, but now they did
Oh
lose some
yeah, I
guys on the
mean,
offensive line,
yeah,
so
true.
that's
Lost.
we'll see.
Yeah, and like the hardest things or the hardest thing about making all these predictions to me is the injury element of it
Yeah,
all.
of course. Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's a matter of like because like, I don't want to predict injuries, but like when you look at a team's full roster, like who's prepared best to deal with certain injuries and certain things happening. So, but yeah, it's something about the LSU quarterback. That's Meyer that he gives me. I'm going to go win games that I shouldn't feel. Watching
yeah.
him on tape, is just like just he's very calm and poised, and like that gets guys a lot further, gives them just a different edge. So, yeah, I can see LSU going into Bama, into Tuscaloosa, and still in that game.
Fine by me. I'm all for it.
I know you are.
So here we got our next teams. I got Florida at 9-3, Tennessee and Auburn 8-4,
Yep.
South Carolina, Ole Miss, Missouri all 7-5.
Yeah, you don't like Ole Miss, huh?
No, I mean I don't think people realize the talent they had on that defense last year. Like they wasted that
It's so
team.
yes, yes,
It's
absolutely.
they'll be fine on offense. They'll score points. Kiffin's calling plays, but I just don't think they're going to be anywhere close to that level in defense. And they got a pretty tough schedule. I mean, it's 7-5 is pretty much. I think they might get to like 8-4, but 7-5, 8-4. That's kind of where I'm at with them.
They open up with all right, Georgia State, Kentucky. Yeah, I mean, to your point, the issue is they lost so much on defense, or they weren't really great on defense as it was, even with all that talent. So to lose all that talent and have to rebuild that, like those rooms at each level, because it's not just like they lost it from one, it's three different levels. They lost quality talent from, and they do have talent returning, but just again, it's just the depth. I don't think they have the quality depth that you need in the SEC to be a 9-10 win team.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. And
What do you
then
think about Florida?
I, so I love Billy Napier. I've known him since he was at when he was at Lafayette. Like, think he's a hell of a coach. They're just so inconsistent at this point. So can I see them going 9-3? Yes, because I do think he's done a good job of rebuilding that roster, and then I think he has a stud at quarterback, right? But with that being said, they have a tough schedule. Like
They did. Yeah, they do.
they have a tough schedule. Like you talking about, you go to LSU and to Miami back to back weeks. Then Texas come to you. Then you go to College Station. Then Georgia comes to you for the cocktail game. And then to Ole Miss, you get Tennessee at home, and then you end Florida State. Like, I mean, I think they beat Mississippi State. I think they beat Kentucky. They beat South Florida, and they beat LIU. So that's 4 wins. Where are the other 5 wins coming from?
I think they beat Miami. So that's
okay, you
one.
said that. That's 1.
Yeah, I think that they beat Ole Miss.
And Florida State.
Oh yeah, obviously Florida State.
Hold on. So yeah, 1.
Tennessee
2.
at home.
Oh.
So what are we up to now? 8?
I think that's 8.
Yeah, so I got them pulling off the big upset, beating Georgia.
Whoa. Really? That's a neutral site game, right?
Yeah, I mean, if DJ Lagway doesn't go down last year, I think Florida wins that game.
Oh, they beat Georgia. That would cause pure chaos in college football. I would love that though. Can't lie. Yeah. Okay.
I think it's gonna be. It's gonna be tough to get to 9-3. It is.
It's gonna be tough to get to 9-3 for any team, honestly. Like, I don't think outside of maybe Georgia, Bama, Texas, everybody else, it's gonna be a fight and a struggle to get to 9 wins.
Yeah, this conference is loaded. I mean,
man,
we're looking at
super loaded.
Like what? This is 7 through 12 right here. These are good teams,
right? Well, I think Missouri finishes higher than Tennessee.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me at all.
Just because, I mean, now the thing that always works in Tennessee's favor is that, like, early on in the season, teams can't keep up with their tempo on offense. They play so fast. He plays like, I mean, Art Briles at Baylor. Keep it simple and play as fast as you can. Then they have a lot of speed. So, but eventually teams catch up and slow them down. But Missouri, that is my sleeper. I think they might sneak in there. And you're looking at them at some point, and they're 8-3, fighting to get to 9-3, or like they're in a range where they can win 10 games. And
yeah, I can see it,
depending on how they finish. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Ole Miss. I think Tennessee will take a step back because of the quarterback play, the run game, and I don't think they have the same pass rushers. Like last year, they could rush the passer. They do have one of the best corners in the country, but if you're covering all day, it doesn't matter how good you are. Life is hard. Yeah. Auburn, I can see Auburn going. I definitely see them going 8-4. I think they're a quality football team who can surprise some people, catch them on the right week. And South Carolina, they should be better than 7-5. I don't know if they will be better than 7-5. Like,
it's all on the North Sellers, really, on offense. I mean,
all of it, and that's why I don't know if they will be better than that. Because, like, as dynamic as he is, he has moments where it's just like you can't do that. Like, you just he puts the ball in harm's way. He goes and plays Superman, and sometimes he doesn't need to be Superman. Just be Robin and just hand it off or take the check down. So, yeah. Like, their season can go a multitude of ways.
Yeah, we'll go to the bottom now. We got Arkansas 6-6, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt at 5-7, and Kentucky 3-9. I think Mississippi State's going to actually. I know 5-7 doesn't seem like much, but I actually think they're going to be a good bit better this year.
Yeah, the quarterback's coming back.
Yeah, and I think they added 32 players in the transfer portal, more than any other team.
They did.
This is going to be a totally different team, but their schedule's really, really tough. So I can't get them to a bowl game, but I think they knock off a couple teams.
You can't get them to a bowl game?
I couldn't do it. I mean, the schedule is just too tough.
Let me pull it up. Mississippi State.
I could see them beating like Tennessee, maybe winning the Egg Bowl against Ole Miss. Of course, they got Arizona State in the non-conference too, so that's
that's tough.
That makes it a little more complicated.
That is last year. Mississippi State. Let's see. We got, they open with Arizona State. Yep, Tennessee, A&M, Florida, Texas, Arkansas, Georgia, Missouri. Shit.
That's tough.
I'm not gonna lie. If I can see them only winning, 2 conference games, maybe 2.
Maybe 1. Yeah, it's
like that's
tough.
tough. That is tough. You talk about drawing the short end of the stick. Jeez.
Yeah, them and Oklahoma, they have brutal schedules.
Because like there's no letdown. They get Tennessee at home, then they go to College Station, then to Gainesville, back home for Texas, then to Fayetteville, back home for Georgia, to Columbia for Missouri, and in the Egg Bowl. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, this is dang, yeah, that's tough. That's tough for sure. And then Vanderbilt, 6-6. They're making a bowl game. I can't. I have a hard time believing that team digresses that much.
I just think teams are going to be more ready for them this year.
I like to think so too, but the one thing I know about option football teams is unless you practice it all year, all spring, and like incorporate it into like your defensive game plan stuff to like get your guys used to it, the week of preparation is hard for a scout team offense to duplicate because this all these guys do. Like they work on that read and that mesh. So ultimately, it's no different than when Navy does it, Air Force and Army, but it's faster with better athletes.
Yeah.
So, and it's with more spacing. That's why Bama, with all the athletes they have, they couldn't stop it because you can't until you see it full speed. And then it's 20 blocking schemes off one play. Sometimes they read the end, sometimes they read the tackle, sometimes they read the backer, and then they throw behind him. Like it's so many variables to it. I just think if that roster is as good as I think it is in terms of how they can run the football, and I actually think they got so much better on defense as well. I think they go on to they're 7 through 12. They get somewhere in there because it's just so hard to stop that offense at times.
Yeah, I mean that wouldn't surprise me. I think they're probably sitting there right around 5-7, 6-6, maybe 7-5, but
and then Kentucky going winless.
Yeah, I just think that team's gonna be terrible. I just do. I mean, I'm assuming he's going to be the starter, Zach Calzada at quarterback. I mean, we've seen him before. It's not really a guy that's going to.
No, I wouldn't be sold on him either.
And they haven't,
not at all.
They haven't done enough, in my opinion, in the portal and recruiting. I think it's a rough year for them.
Yeah, like I think they'll win. You got to win 3 games. Yeah, they beat Tennessee Tech, Toledo, and they'll be Eastern Michigan. The Eastern Michigan team actually is not that bad. Like they're not awful.
And Toledo, I mean, that's
right. That's what I'm saying. Like Toledo is a good MAC team. Like
that could be 2
they got votes. That sucks.
Yeah, I might be being generous with 3-9.
Maybe because I know they're not winning a conference game. Not one. If they win a conference game, that means it was a plethora of injuries or something. Like something catastrophic.
Yeah, because they don't get to play Mississippi State. They don't get to play Arkansas.
They get Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that's about the only game they might win.
But they got to go there.
Yeah,
they got to go to Auburn. They got to go to Georgia, to South Carolina. Yeah, that's not a favorable schedule. Not even a little bit. Yeah, I think we're going to win this in the conference for sure. Man, that's rough.
Yeah. All right, so we got your sleeper teams, which I know we kind of talked about it there, but who do you got for your sleeper teams? Who's at the
Texas
top of the list?
Tech Red Raiders. I'm calling it now. They get into the playoffs. I don't know where the seeding's going to be. They're making the playoffs.
Do
I'm
you think
calling
that
it now.
do you think they win the Big 12 or they get in as like an at-large?
I think they win it. I think they win it because I think they're going to have the best defense in the Big 12. And that will give them the chance to win it, to win games that are close, to win games that maybe they're outmatched. I just think that that defense will give them a chance, and because they added some studs on defense. But yeah, I think they will win the Big 12 and they get in and piss
I
everybody off
think,
because they
yeah,
mess up the brackets.
I think they have the best roster in the Big 12. It's just a matter of, do those guys come together? A lot of new players, but just
Yeah.
talent wise, I agree. I think they have the best roster.
Who's your sleeper team? Who you got?
The biggest sleeper, in terms of what people are expecting to where I've got them, I'm going to go Northwestern. Not a playoff sleeper.
Yeah,
I've got them 8-4, and most people are probably like 4-8 or something. But they've got a lot of veterans coming back. They got a really good offensive line, really on both sides of the line. They're pretty strong.
Yep.
Veterans on defense. They added Preston Stone, who has played and played well at SMU.
Yep.
I think
played a lot of good ball.
Yeah, I think they're going to knock off somebody. I think I picked them to upset Michigan. So I think they get an upset, like some team like that, a Michigan or somebody.
Yeah.
That's a team I think ruins the season. I don't really have a sleeper team that gets into the playoff. Maybe you could go Texas A&M. I don't know if that's counts as a sleeper. I think they get in.
Where are they ranked?
Where they ranked? I think it's 18.
That's sleeper. That's outside the top 15.
Okay, that's my sleeper team that actually gets in, Texas A&M.
I can see that. And I mean, we talk about sleepers, like that's a good one just off the fact that you know how much has to happen for them to from 18 to playoffs.
Yeah.
Because the SEC is going to get how many teams in, you think? 5?
4 or 5, yeah. Probably 5.
Yeah, Texas, Georgia, Bama are 3. I think that get in. I think LSU gets in. Then A&M. I don't know. I can see A&M though for sure. They settled the quarterback stuff. I think they've done a great job of retaining their talent. Like not guys that not high quality guys leaving. I think they're well balanced. I think Reed, the quarterback, he has more in his body than what he's shown over the past few years. So I don't disagree. I think they can definitely sneak their way in the playoffs. I would love to see it, just so they can lose to Texas.
Now, I do have them losing to Texas in the regular season, but yeah. All right, so I appreciate everybody tuning in. J-Rob, I think, probably going to be back next week on the show, so we'll see how the lineup looks next week. But yeah, we'll be back with Voice of College Football 365 next Tuesday. Any final thoughts, Brandon?
Be sure to follow me on YouTube at 1B-Ross and follow me on TikTok and Instagram at 1B.Ross. Dash and dot. All right.
All right. And also make sure you check out Brandon over on the Texas channel every Tuesday night as well. All right. We'll see you guys next time.